Hello students, welcome back to another English video lesson. We are going to discuss Unit 9, Madam Rides the Bus. Now, let's know about the author. Vallikannan is a pseudonym of the famous writer R. S. Krishnasamy. He was born in a village near Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu on 12th November 1920 and died on 9th November 2006. He was a famous Tamil writer, journalist, critic, and translator. He started writing at a very young age and had published 25 books by the time he turned 30. He wrote a total of 75 books in his life. He wrote novels, poetry, collections, plays, and essays. He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1978 for his critical works on modern Tamil poetry. This is a sensitive story of an 8-year-old girl's bus journey into the world outside her village and also her induction into the mystery of life and death. She sees the gap between our knowing that there is death and our understanding of it. Now, let's know the theme of the story. Madam Rides the Bus is the story of an 8-year-old girl, Valli. She was a wonderful girl. She was mature, clever, practical, and self-respecting beyond her age. Standing in the front doorway and watching what was happening in the street was her favorite pastime. She was a great planner. She thriftily saved every penny that came her way for her first bus journey. During her first bus journey, Valli was filled with enthusiasm and excitement. She enjoyed the landscape, the canal, palm trees, distant mountains, and green fields stretching out as far as her eye could see. She reacted strongly when she was called a child or madam. The self-respecting girl refused to accept a free cold drink offered by the bus conductor. She planned her bus journey during the nap hours of her mother. Interestingly, her mother could never know of the bus journey her daughter undertook during her nap in the afternoon. Valli's favorite hobby. There was a girl named Valli Ammai. She was called Valli for short. She was 8 years old. She was very curious about things. Standing in the front doorway of her house was her favorite pastime. She had no playmates. Watching the street gave her many new, unusual experiences. Watching the bus. Day after day, she watched the bus that traveled between her village and the nearest town. She wished to ride on that bus. This wish became stronger and stronger. She would stare at the people who got on or off the bus. She listened carefully the conversation between her neighbors who regularly used the bus. She picked up small details about the bus journey. The town was 6 miles from her village. The fare was 30 paise one way. To Valli, this amount seemed a fortune. The trip to the town took 45 minutes. She was a very curious girl. She had no playmates of her age in her street to play with. Watching the street gave her tremendous joy and new experiences. The fascinating thing of all was the bus that traveled between her village and the nearest town. It was the source of unending joy for her. She could take 1 o'clock afternoon bus. She would reach the town at 1:45. She could be back home by about 2:45. She calculated and recalculated, planned and replanned her journey schedule. When Wally sighted the bus, she cried, "Stop the bus! Stop the bus!" The bus slowed down, still standing outside the bus. She told the conductor that she wanted to go to the town. She showed the money she had. The conductor stretched his hand to help her up. Wally replied that she could help herself. The conductor was fond of joking. He asked others to make way for the madam. All the 6 or 7 passengers were looking at Wally. She was overcome with shyness. She quickly went to an empty seat and sat down. The conductor blew his whistle and the bus moved forward with a roar. She started to look outside. The bus was now going along the bank of a canal. Beyond it, she could see palm trees, grasslands, distant mountains, and the blue sky. Then she saw acres of green fields. An elderly person asked her to sit down. She was a little annoyed. The conductor said jokingly, "Oh, sir, but this is a very grown-up madam." Wally shot back, "I am not a madam." She reminded the conductor that he had not given her the ticket yet. He asked why she was standing when she had paid for her seat. He called her a child and asked her to sit down. It was a new bus. Its outside painted a gleaming white with some green stripes along the sides. The bus was going along the bank of a canal. Wally asked for ticket. The conductor punched a ticket and handed it to her. When the bus stopped, some new passengers got on, and the conductor got busy for a time. Afraid of losing her seat, Wally finally sat down. An elderly woman came and sat beside her. Wally found the woman absolutely repulsive. She had big hole in her ears and ugly earrings in them. She could smell the betel nut the woman was chewing. She asked why Wally was traveling alone and if she even knew where she was going. Wally retorted that she need not bother about her. She could take care of herself. Wally's first journey came after a careful and painstaking planning. She saved whatever stray coins came her way. Finally, she had saved a total of 60 paise. She resisted every temptation like buying toys, balloons, and to ride the merry-go-round. Her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge. Her mother would nap every day from 1 to 4. These 3 hours were for her excursions. The bus was rushing through small hamlets. Suddenly, Wally clapped her hands. A young cow was running very fast, right in the middle of the road. It was right in front of the bus. The driver sounded his horn loudly again and again. The more he honked, the more frightened the animal became. It was very funny to Wally. She laughed until tears came in her eyes. Then they passed through a railroad crossing. Then it passed through a busy but well-laid shopping street. Bright looking shops. What glittering display of clothes. Such big crowds, thought Wally. Her destination had come. Her 30 paise could take her only to this place. The conductor asked her to get off. Wally replied that she was going back on the same bus. She handed 30 paise coins to the conductor. The conductor was surprised. Wally told him that she just felt like having a bus ride again. He was greatly amused. He asked if she was not afraid of coming alone in the bus. She answered that there was Nothing to be worried about. He was ready to offer a cold drink to her. She firmly said that she wanted only her ticket and nothing else. Valli wasn't bored during her return journey. She had the same excitement. Suddenly, she saw a young cow lying dead by the roadside. It had been struck by some fast moving vehicle. It was the same cow which she had seen before. When alive, she was a lovable, beautiful creature. Now, she looked so horrible and frightening. Valli sat glued to her seat. The bus reached her village at 3:40. The memory of the dead cow haunted Valli, dampening her enthusiasm. Valli no longer wanted to look out of the window. The bus reached her village at 3:40. She wished the conductor and hoped to see him again. When Valli entered her house, she found her mother awake and talking to one of her aunts. She was a real chatterbox. Her mother went on with her conversation. She opined that there were so many things in the world outside. They often couldn't understand them completely. Valli agreed with her mother. She said that so many things were happening without their knowledge. Her aunt called her just a chit of a girl she is. She poked her nose in their conversation as though she were a grown up lady. Valli smiled to herself but didn't want them to understand her smile. At last, the bus reached her village. Valli thanked the conductor, got down from the bus, and went straight to her home. This was how she made her first bus ride without letting anybody know about it. Dear students, I hope all of you have understood the lesson Madam Rides the Bus. What do we learn from the character of Valli? We learn to be mature, clever, and practical. We learn to be brave and courageous enough. We learn to be independent. We should respect elders and speak to them politely. Okay, students, thank you all. Have a nice day.